Hi, everybody. It's LibraryAnn, and I'm going to read to you today from another one of my favorite books. This is called Rabbi Rocketpower and the Half-Baked Matzah Mystery, a particularly peculiar Passover, written by Rabbi Susan Abramson, illustrated by Ariel Diorio. And Rabbi Abramson grew up at Temple Israel, and she wrote a series of books. This is one of 4 of them. So if you like this one, check out the others. We have them all in our library. So I'm going to read this book today, but first I want to know, can you say this 3 times fast? Particularly peculiar Passover. Particularly peculiar Passover. Particularly peculiar Passover. That was pretty good. All right. I'm going to read chapters 1 and 2 today, and another time I'm going to read the next chapters. Purr's first Passover. And Purr is the name of their cat. Get it? P-U-R-R, Purr. Kaboom! A big box of crackers tumbled onto the kitchen floor, scattering crumbs in all directions. Oops, giggled Purr. She sat down in the middle of the kitchen table and wagged her tail. Oh, Purr, I just finished sweeping, moaned Aaron as he ran over with his broom and dustpan. We have to clean the house and get rid of all the chametz before Passover. Chametz? Sounds like a disease. I hope I don't catch it, Purr screeched. It's not a disease. It's a food that gets puffier when you cook it. You can't eat it on our Jewish holiday called Passover, Aaron explained. What? You have a holiday where you only eat flat food? That's the weirdest thing I ever heard, Purr replied, rolling her eyes. We eat flat bread called matzah to remember that our ancestors didn't have time for their bread to rise when they escaped from Egypt, Aaron continued, ignoring her. Want to join us for our Passover Seder tonight? You can hear the whole amazing story, Aaron suggested. Let's see. You're going to eat flat food, pass over cider, and tell a whole story? Purr yawned. I'd love to join you, bub, but I think I have a play date with a dust ball. It's one of the best meals we have all year. And I said Seder, not cider. Aaron chuckled. Seder means order in Hebrew. There's a special way we're supposed to tell the Passover story. Sounds exciting, bub, but I think I hear a spider calling my name. She stuck her tail in the air and pranced towards the living room. Purr couldn't wait to see if her favorite spider, who had a web in the corner of the living room, had caught more bugs for her to play with. But the second she walked into the room, vroom, a horrible loud noise nearly made her jump out of her skin. And that's what Purr looks like. Yow, she screamed as Rabbi Mensch began vacuuming. Hey, bub, be careful with that thing, Purr shouted. Rabbi Mensch pushed the vacuum toward the spider web in the back of the room. What? I can't hear you. I'm cleaning for Passover, yelled Rabbi Mensch, sending the spider scurrying to safety just in the nick of time. Passover schmassover, Purr grumbled. I need a snack. She marched down the stairs to her basement hideout and stuck her head in the food dish. Not that same disgusting dry cat food again, she whined, scrunching up her nose. Hey, maybe I'll try some of that Passover stuff in the kitchen. It couldn't be any worse than this dry rubbish. Chapter 2. The matzah has a ball. Purr snuck upstairs and tiptoed over to a shopping bag in the corner of the kitchen. She stuck her head inside to see if there was anything good to eat. The guy at the store gave me that bag of open matzah boxes for free. Isn't that great? Said Aaron excitedly. One of the boxes was full of crumbs, so Mom said I could try making a matzah ball out of them. Sounds crunchy, thought Purr. She leaned a little further into the bag. Hey, Mom, I thought matzah was dry, Aaron complained as his mother joined him in the kitchen. He held up a big, gooey glob. These crumbs feel kind of slimy. I didn't even need to add water to make them into a ball, he added, making a face. Per was so hungry that she stuck her head completely inside one of the boxes. Just as she was about to take a bite out of a big sheet of matzah, it crumbled to the bottom of the box. She tried to bite a second sheet, but it attached itself to the side of the box. She tried to sink her teeth into a third piece, but it grabbed her nose and honked it like a horn. Ouch, screamed Per, losing her balance. She fell right into the shopping bag with her head stuffed into a matzah box. Actually, here's the picture. Help, she yelled, running through the house. Inside the box, little pieces of matzah bounced on her nose as if it were a trampoline. Aaron dropped the matzah ball on the kitchen counter and chased after Per into the living room. She looked so funny that he couldn't help but giggle. But when his mother walked in and saw that Per had left a trail of crumbs behind her, she wasn't happy. Stop, shouted Aaron. Stand still, and we'll get the box off of you. What? I can't hear you, Per yelled. And who turned out the lights? Rabbi Mensch finally managed to free her. It's about time, Per huffed. I'm out of here. Per ran down to her room in the basement and flicked on her cat TV. She sat in front of it, munching her cat food and complaining under her breath. Upstairs in the living room, Rabbi Mensch picked up the matzah box. Aaron, does this smell a little like horseradish to you? She asked, making a face. Maybe it's horseradish flavored matzah, Aaron suggested. I bet they invented it just so you don't have to bother dipping the matzah into the maror, the bitter herbs, during the Seder. That's an interesting idea, agreed Rabbi Mensch, not quite convinced. I'll go get the vacuum. Aaron ran back into the kitchen to finish his matzah ball, but it wasn't on the kitchen counter. That's weird, he murmured. He looked in the sink, on the floor, even in the refrigerator, but he couldn't find it anywhere. Rabbi Mensch returned to the living room to vacuum up the crumbs, but when she looked at the floor, it was completely clean. Per, they both shouted. Did you take my matzah ball? Asked Aaron. Did you lick up all the matzah crumbs? Asked Rabbi Mensch. You matzah ball heads blame me for everything, Per whined as she appeared at the top of the basement stairs. I wouldn't touch that matzah stuff if you paid me 1,000,000 mice. Aaron and his mother shrugged. They headed into the kitchen to begin setting the Seder table. He picked up the Passover bowls stacked on the kitchen table and found the matzah ball hidden behind it. He was absolutely sure he had left it on the kitchen counter. How did my matzah ball get over here? Asked Aaron. Per grabbed her best friend Schmaltzy, a small furry yellow chicken, catnip, squeaky toy, from behind the living room door. She curled up with Schmaltzy on the living room couch, ready to take a nap. But as soon as she closed her eyes, she began to feel tickly little pinches on her fur. Here's Schmaltzy. A picture of Schmaltzy over there. Per looked up, shocked at what she saw. There were the crumbs from the matzah box, marching from behind the seat cushion onto her back like an army of ants. Run for your life, she screamed to Schmaltzy. Per shook herself off and ran out of the room, forgetting that Schmaltzy couldn't run because she was a furry chicken squeaky toy. Per hid behind the door and peered around the corner. As she stared in amazement, the crumbs morphed into a matzah ball, bounced off Schmaltzy onto the floor, and rolled around the room. Are you guys ready to search for breadcrumbs? Rabbi Mensch called out while she finished wiping off the kitchen table. It's time to make a fire in the backyard to burn the chametz. Yay, shouted Aaron. He opened the kitchen drawer where they kept the big white feather. This is my favorite part. I love to sweep up all the little crumbs with the feather and throw them in the fire. Want to join us, Per? Sure, Bub, let's start with the big fat crumb you missed in the living room, she teased. I just checked in there, but if you really want me to, sighed Rabbi Mensch. Hers sat back and laughed into her paw as Aaron and Rabbi Mensch walked back into the room. Just before they arrived, the matzo ball rolled behind the living room chair. When they started heading for the chair, it grew tiny little scrawny legs and tiptoed behind the couch. When they bent down to look behind the couch, it jumped into the living room plant and crumbled into little pieces on top of the dirt. This room looks perfectly clean, said Aaron. He and his mother took the bag of breadcrumbs they had already found, made a fire outside in their brick fireplace, and tossed in the bread. Where are you? Yelled Aaron when the crumbs began to pop into red-hot ashes. I thought you wanted to see the bread burn. It's really cool. Sorry, Bub, I'm busy watching that crumb you missed. She giggled, peering into the living room. She was still too afraid of it to go in and rescue Schmaltzy, but she couldn't wait to see what that crazy matzo ball would do next. And if you want to see what that crazy matzo ball will do next, tune in to the next 2 chapters of Rabbi Rocketpower and the Half-Baked Matzah Mystery on my channel, LibraryAnn's YouTube channel. Have a great day. It was fun reading with you.